Hi, my name's Dwayne, and welcome to Dwayne's World. This is my new YouTube channel. This is episode 1, and this is just introductions today. You can learn a little bit more, introduce myself, and introduce the airplane. So we're going to take a quick look at me and then at the airplane. So my name's Dwayne, and if you're following along, then either you're family or friends, or you got lost on the internet, or you're really super desperate for some entertainment. So uh, welcome aboard, and you may be a Challenger builder, or a wannabe, and are following along because you want to see how somebody else did it or how you ought not to do it. So um, I welcome your comments. If you're a Challenger builder and see me doing something wrong or have a better way to do it, be sure to let me know in the comments. That being said, I want to make sure that you understand that this channel is just for fun and not here to make money or influence the algorithms. So comment if you have something important to say or advice on how to build this. I welcome that. But I'm not going to bug you about all the things you need to do to follow along. You know the drill. If you want to follow along, you know what to do. Um, there's something else I wanted to mention with regard to why I'm doing the channel, and that has to do with pride. And I wanted to address that. The Bible says that pride goes before destruction, and airplanes and destruction aren't something you want to have in the same sentence. And so I thought long and hard about whether or not I ought to do this, because I didn't want to bring destruction upon myself or the airplane. And so, but as I thought long and hard about it, I realized that I have family and friends that like to follow along my projects, and others just like to live vicariously and uh, see a project through its completion. And so I like to offer that and what I have to do here. And so I welcome you to follow along. I'm not here because I'm all that or someone important or anything like that. Um, and also, I didn't want people to think that I'm doing this so that you think, oh, look at me, I got an airplane. Um, this is a very affordable airplane to buy and to maintain and to operate. And it's not like a certified airplane where you're going to spend, 50, 100, 200,000 or $500,000 in some cases, or $1 million for Cirrus. Um, these airplanes, like this one here, uh, well, I'm not going to give a specific price because they vary on the market, but just think of it as being something in the value of a decent used car or an average boat or something like that. So as far as recreational equipment, this kind of falls right in that category, not a high-end airplane like you might think. And so it's affordable flying, and that's kind of what I want to be doing here. And so it's not a pride thing of, ooh, look at this expensive airplane I have, because it's not an expensive airplane. And so we're just going to be here to have some fun and build an airplane together. So welcome aboard. Let's take a look around and get to know this airplane. So let's take a walk around the airplane. This is a Quad City Challenger clipped wing special. It's a single place airplane. As you can tell, the engine is not in the front, as most airplanes are. It is a pusher design. The Quad City Challenger is an airplane that first came out in 1983 when Quad City produced their first version of this airplane. It was an ultralight. Later versions of it, like this one here, is not an ultralight. It is actually a light sport experimental category airplane. Single seat. This is a temporary seat that the previous owner had put in. It might have been his permanent one, actually. He did do a panel. I am replacing that panel with a new factory panel. And there's the rudder pedals and the stick. I do have a grip for that. It's a high wing design. So there's the linkages for this is the trim, and that operates the two cranks for the flaperons, which are combination flap and aileron. This is the root tube. This is where the engine hangs from, down below here in this area. From the crankshaft on the engine is going to be a redrive unit that comes up and operates a pulley up here. This brings the propeller up higher for a lot larger diameter and more efficiency. It also slows the propeller down from the engine speed. Now the engine is a two-stroke Rotax 503. It's about 50 horsepower, so pretty peppy little engine for its size and weight. The previous builder had wired it, but I am going to be replacing the wiring. I have a new factory wiring kit for it, a wiring harness. And so I didn't know how long ago he did the wiring, so I wasn't sure about the jacketing, if that had been degraded or whatever. But the new wiring harness from the factory is all shielded wiring, so that should be good to go, and far superior. Now the letter D on the side. Now the previous builder was a rancher from South Dakota, and this is there's some a sentimental story. I can't go into all the details, but I wanted to honor the previous builder and his work on the airplane. And since my name is Dwayne, starts with a D, it works. So I'm going to leave it on there for his memories and for my name as well. This does not have a N number or a aircraft license plate, if you please, for non-pilots. That comes with when you register the airplane. There's certain things you have to have when you register an airplane. You have to have, if it's a kit plane, you have to have documentation. Now, before you can build and fly a real airplane, you have to have a paper airplane. And to have a paper airplane, so to speak, you have to have two things. One is a documentation from the factory, bills of sale, tracking the lineage of the aircraft from, or the kit from the factory. Now, the way this works is that for your non-pilots, kit planes have to have at least 51% of the work done by the builder and not the factory. So there's a whole scoring mechanism that the FAA has set up and appoints. So it's not necessarily hours of work, but numbers of projects and things that you do. So when you have a kit, it's been approved that it does meet the rules for 51% builder percentages. And so in order to fall under that category as a kit, the manufacturer has to have that certification. And now you have to have documentation that, yes, this was a kit from this manufacturer that is approved under those rules. And so you can't just buy one of these planes like I did and not have that. Fortunately, I was able to reconstruct that from the factory. I had the serial number and the previous builder was still alive, so they were able to issue that to him, and then he was able to issue the correct FAA form bill of sale to me. So now I have the provenance of the ownership. The other thing you have to have is some sort of build records, and the previous builder did not keep any, or else they were lost when the hangar got cleaned out. Now the story on that goes is that he was building in a hangar with this buddy. His buddy owned the hangar, and they both became elderly, and eventually his buddy passed away, and the widow went and cleaned out the hangar, and anything that was not attached to the airplane was tossed. And so you notice that this does not have a windshield or doors or lift struts. That's what holds the wings up, which are hanging up on the wall there, by the way. And so there was a lot of missing parts, and so I purchased this kit a little over a year ago, and the reason I had not done any work on it is because I needed parts, including an engine and a propeller and a redrive unit. Now this airplane did come with an engine and a propeller and a redrive unit, but it was a Hearth engine, and for you Challenger builders know that a Hearth 2703 is not an engine you want to fly with. And so I ended up selling it to a couple kids here in Gig Harbor who I didn't know it at the time, but they have a YouTube channel. So if you want to see what happened to that engine, uh, look up the Barn Brothers in Gig Harbor, and they got the thing started, and you can see what they did with it. It's kind of sketchy, but kind of fun to watch. So anyway, I needed a more reliable engine, and the Rotax is the go-to, especially the 503. And so I have one ordered from the factory, and it's going to be arriving hopefully in a couple weeks. So, but there's other parts I needed to get, and before I could build that. Now, one of the things you need, since in lieu of documentation of a build, one of the things I did was, as I got the airplane, as I received it, there it is, a picture actually of it, as I loaded it in the U-Haul to bring it home from Linden, and then laid it out in the yard just as I received it, documented all the inside and out of the work that the previous builder did. And that was from my records, and if I ever decide to sell the airplane, I can show the next owner what was done to the airplane before I got it, and then I will certainly document and photograph and take notes of everything I do. But from a legal standpoint, I needed a affidavit, so I had the previous owner provide a list of the steps that he finished on in the build manual, and had it notarized, and a sworn notarized legal statement saying these are the steps I did. I did not hire any professional help to build this airplane. These airplanes come pretty complete as a kit. Now the fuselage is completely built, not with any covering, it's just a bare skeleton, but the whole skeleton with all the linkages already rigged, and it comes from the factory that way. And like I said, it falls under the 51% rule, or the 49% on their end, because there's many other steps that you do to learn and for your enjoyment. So I do have the documentation from the factory now, and I also have a signed sworn affidavit from the builder of the work that he did. Now this is the actual build manual. There's 4 sections, and step by step, and at the end of each section there's a place to put notes, and I'm going to be noting what he did and then the work that I did, and any thoughts or notes that I have along the way. Now the FAA is not very clear on what kind of records to keep. They say you can do this and this and this, but they don't say you have to do this and this and this. So it's kind of a gray area. As long as you can document that you built the airplane and didn't hire some professional to fulfill that work for you, then you're good to go. Once I have the engine and a serial number, then I can register the airplane and get my airplane license plate. And so I'm kind of excited to get that number on there. And that's the next step. The last step is just before you go to fly, you get an airworthiness certificate. And that's when you have the FAA or a designated inspector come and look at your airplane, make sure it's airworthy, and they sign you off, and then you are able to start flying off your testing. Now this is the rudder. There's the control horns there. Now this, take you over here. Sorry about that, didn't make you sick. Anyway, this is goes in the back of the airplane, like so. Now you'll notice that the back of the airplane has a little wheel in the back, and that's because since it's a pusher design and the engine hangs in the back, when there's no occupant in the airplane, it'll settle down on this tail like so. I'm not sure you can get that all in there, but so if it's sitting in the hangar and nobody's in it, it's going to sit nose high with the wheel on that. So that just protects the tail. Then as soon as you get in with the pilot, then you can it'll settle down. So here we have the horizontal stabilizers and elevators. These came with 2 hinges. And as designs evolve and improve over time, like I say, these came out in 1983. This particular kit was sold in 1995, so it's been around a while. Um, but improvements come over time. And one of the improvements they decided to do was adding a third hinge. So this has the two hinges built from the previous owner, but I'll be adding a third hinge. And of course, the factory sells the third hinge kit, in which I have here. And that'll be the first actual work that I do on the airplane, is getting the third hinges in. So that'll give me a chance to do a little bit of riveting and do some airplane stuff. The previous builder sold me a bucket full of parts. I sorted it all out and bagged it so I could tell what I had. My numbered drill bits for accurate drilling for the rivets. There's a rivet gun. Started practicing my riveting. Here's my first two. So this was my my parts bin, stuff that I've been accumulating. I wanted to be able to just start work on the airplane and not have to get partway in and then get hung up and waiting for parts, and then you lose your momentum. And I wanted to be able to work consistently without any holdups on the construction. So just about have everything I need. I'm just waiting on the engine now and the panel, and I'll be able to get to work on that. So there it is, a 1995 kit plane, Quad City Challenger 1 clipped wing special. Thanks for joining me on Dwayne's World. We'll see you next time.